Hey, welcome back to my vlog. I took a little hiatus. I was off for 2 days, which ended up stopping my streak at 8 straight days of being live on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever else I'm broadcasting this. And I had to take that break because I had to head off to Phoenix for 2 days while I went to my son's basketball tournament called Made Hoops event, where we went 1-2 this weekend. We lost our first two, won our third game, and we finished a little league, which consisted of, I think it was a total of three get-togethers or Saturday, Sundays, and we finished 4-6 overall, which is good for the sixth seed in the upcoming tournament at the end of the month, which is the 27th and 8th of March. And it's back in Phoenix again, so we'll be heading back there at the end of the month. We should have had actually a little bit better record. We lost a few of those games by just a few points, or where we were actually beating the team pretty handily and then let them come back and beat us. So there's a good chance we could have definitely flipped the script on that record and been at least 6-4, a little bit better than that. Either way, it really doesn't matter much. It really just matters on whether you can beat those top teams that are really, really good, and that's going to be quite the task because we're up against some teams that are pretty much as dominant as you can get, and some guys that are really, really big, right? So, our team also just needs a little bit of help when it comes to believing a little bit more in one another and sharing the ball and creating a higher percentage type shots for each other instead of forcing so many contested shots. They really need to work on, not taking those contested shots and, taking more open shots and have a higher percentage chance to go in. So therefore, it's always the team that shoots the best that typically wins. And especially if you want to be competitive with really good teams, you've got to play smart and you got to be unselfish enough to give up what you want to do for the betterment of the team all the time. So that's something that some of the boys still need to understand and get, and comes down to it. It really is all about coaching and whether the coaches are instilling those types of values in the kids and teaching them the right ways to play basketball. So we'll see how it goes, but I hope they'll do better in the actual tournament at the end of the month. And ironically enough, with our sixth seed, we may end up playing our other Vegas elite team that's also in it, because they are a 3 seed. So it depends how they match that up, or if they finished with the 3 seed. I don't know for sure. I haven't double checked. But anyway, that would be odd. And that would kind of really suck at the same time, because that means even if we'd beat them, they're done. And if they beat us, we're pretty much done. We'll go to consolation bracket and have to play in there. Anyway, Colton played pretty well. He took 5 charges overall in the 3 games. He had 3 in the first half of game number 2, and he took 2 more at the final game. He didn't get one in the first game. But yeah, so that was cool. And he also scored, I think he didn't have any points in the first game. He only took maybe 1 or 2 shots. And in the second game, he had like 4 points. In the third game, he scored 5 points. So had several rebounds in each of the games, a couple assists in each of the games, doing winning plays basically. And they captured a cool photo, Made Hoops did, that was posted to Instagram, that showed Colton diving out of bounds to save the basketball to one of his teammates. I thought that was pretty cool. It was a great photo, and I'll be sharing it on my Instagram probably later today. On another note, today is Monday, and believe it or not, it's already March 1st, which is crazy. That means a couple things. One is we're almost 100% all the way back to where we began a year ago before this COVID thing really shut us down. So March 15th was when we got shut down here in Nevada. And of course, March 14th is my birthday, and it's hard to believe it's been a whole year already. But here we are. And on top of that, of course, Mondays are always a little bit tough. It's one of the busiest days of the week for me. I've got a lot going on. It's hard for me to get a lot of things I want to get done. And then, of course, you always have a lot of fires to put out from different things that happen on a day-to-day to week-to-week basis. And it always seems that Mondays is the day that this stuff happens and you got to deal with it. So a lot of times on Mondays, I feel a little bit overwhelmed with all my time restraints, with everything I got to get done and what I want to do. And it's just tough. It's a little bit tough. And then, like, for instance, for Monday, having issues this week, we just found out today, I just got a call from Turo, and an email from Turo as well that they will no longer allow our SUV to be on Turo and be rented out because it's got what they call a branded title. And when I listed it initially, it asked if it had like a salvage title. And of course, since it's called a branded title from where we purchased it from and such, that I just said no. And it took Turo basically over a year and a half to spot check our vehicle to see that it actually had this title. So now they've delisted the vehicle, and that's fine. It is what it is. But so I did a little extra research about that, and basically a branded title is just a naming, how they name a salvage title, or another way they can put it so that insurance companies will still give you insurance for a vehicle like that. Whereas if it's a salvage title, supposedly they will not insure the vehicle as they don't believe it's road safe. So they don't want to invest their money into insuring a vehicle like that, because if something would happen, they're then going to be basically totaling out the vehicle, and it's just a higher risk for them to take on, so they won't do it. But you're supposed to be able to get a much better deal, which we did. You're supposed to get about 50% off, basically whatever the value of the vehicle is when you purchase it, when it's a branded title. So that's one of the benefits to buying a branded title. The biggest issue is that it's got very little to no resale value after the fact. Because of the same reason. So you're going to take a loss on when you want to resell it, if you want to resell it. So that's tough. So, if you're ever in that situation, it's best not to go with a branded title or a salvage title if you can help it. But of course, if you're looking to save a few bucks, it's definitely worth it. So to each their own on that. And then I think on the final note of this little thing, I wanted to talk a little bit about email marketing automations. So this is my marketing segment of the daily vlog, but adding an option to opt out of an automation is something that I was keen about with using ActiveCampaign when I first got started with it, but I hadn't really put it to good use. And now I'm really starting to do that because I have so many marketing automations now, it makes a lot more sense. So if I send out an email marketing automation or campaign to my list of people, and they are just not interested in the offer, they now have an option to click a link at the very bottom of it, and basically it's telling ActiveCampaign to end that automation or that offer for them, and they will no longer see any future emails about that particular offer. And then what's cool about that is then they could potentially be put into another automation from there real easily, for something else that they may be more interested in. So that's a really cool feature if you're using email marketing automations that you should definitely be taking advantage of. One of the tricks of the trade I also figured out over the last couple of days when I was working with my deadline funnel issue is I wasn't quite sure how to track whether somebody clicked the link inside of an email that was sent out, to try to figure out, there's a lot of logic in their automations where you can do an if-then statements. And so I was trying to do things like, wait an hour and then check to see if they clicked the link, because it does track that, and it's easy enough to track. What I failed to realize right away, and it took me a little bit to figure out, was that with ActiveCampaign, there's an option when you create the link in an email to add an action right directly related to the link. And so one of those actions can be like add a tag, remove a tag, start an automation, end an automation. And so what's really neat about that is as soon as someone clicks a link, I can have it end that particular automation and start a new one. And, I was trying to figure that out with logic, and I was like, why doesn't this work? How come this doesn't work? I was Googling it. And then it's as simple as they actually built a feature right into where you add the link in an email, and you can set it right there and then and there, and makes it much, much more user-friendly and gets the job done and works seamlessly without any issue. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so that's about it for today, I think. I just want to get back because I missed getting on here live for 2 days, and I want to start a new streak again. Hopefully it'll last until at least when I go back to Phoenix on the 27th of March or so. So anyway, I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks so much. And if you have any comments or questions, greatly appreciate seeing those. And Yeah, I'm just I finally got a comment here. Hold on. So Aminit said, "Hello, good evening. Good to hear from you." And through hear from the chat through podcast today's presentation. Cool. So this is what it looks like if I show that. There it is. So thank you for actually commenting for the first time. So I can play with that little comment tool so I can turn it on and show and turn it off. It's pretty neat. Anyway, thanks so much. Again, I'll be back with more cool stuff tomorrow, hopefully, that are top of mind. And with that being said, have a great day, and I'll speak with you tomorrow. Take care.